Welcome to the latest edition of NC Sports Weekly News, your water sports essential. And here's the lineup. Joy and despair as the ISAF World Championship in Santander decides on the Olympic sailing passes for Rio 2016. Stephanie Gilmore and Jordy Smith conquer Trestles, the California Classic, on the ASP World Championship Tour. An impeccable Taylor Canfield defeats Ian Williams in the final of the Chicago Match Cup. Sebastien Destremau reports. Plus, Bart's Bash, a huge global success, is coming to Nautical Channel in a special half-hour presentation airing this November. Watch the preview with Charlotte Holmes and Andy Rice from Weymouth. America's Cup, Piranha and Swordfish fly in Cagliari. The AC-45s are now on a mission to foil for the World Series. September spells a great sailing in Sardinia. Maxis and Swans close the summer season at the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda. NC Sports, plunge into the action. Large crowds gathered as the much-anticipated 2014 ISAF World Championship in Santander gave the final verdict last Sunday for over 1,200 medal hopefuls arriving from 81 nations to battle it out on Spain's Atlantic coast. Amid joy or despair every 4 years, this becomes the real cutout date for most of these dedicated athletes. No different this time, as just 138 passes would open the gates to the next Rio 2016 Olympic Games, so the competition was ever more fierce, especially within national teams. Just 39 countries managed to secure at least one spot at Rio 2016, but Team France had the lion's share and was awarded the IOC President's Trophy as Best Overall Performing Nation. It started with Julien Bontemps and Charline Picon, winners in both the men and women RS6, and with Thomas Goyard also taking men's bronze. Then Billy Besson and Marie Rioux also clinched their gold in the NACRA 17s. While the medal tally here mostly confirmed ISAF World Cup season results in the 10 Olympic classes, there still were a few surprises. Among these, the gold for Austria with Lara Vadlau and Jola Ogar leading the series in the ladies 470, and holding back the London 2012 Golden Girls, Jo Ale and Polly Powery of New Zealand. No shakeups instead for the men's 470, as once again the Aussie powerhouse crew with Matt Belcher and Will Ryan dominated with 4 wins in 10 races and took the gold over Croatia and Greece. Respecting the forecasts, the Kiwis ruled in the men's 49er with Peter Burling and Blair Tuke, winning 5 of 13 regattas and securing their Santander gold. A battle of Olympic proportion was just behind, as Beijing winners Warren Thompson of Denmark and London's winners Outridge and Jensen for Australia closed respectively with silver and bronze. In a tight series for the ladies 49er effects, rising stars Martine Grael and Kahena Kunze ultimately managed to defeat the new European champions Nielsen and Olsen in a very close series. Staying 2 boats ahead of the Danes, the talented Brazilians made the medal race count, while Italy closed the podium with Giulia Conti and Francesca Klapčić. British sailor Giles Scott was simply unrivaled on the fins and secured gold with 5 wins in 8 regattas. Holland dominated in the laser classes. As expected, Marit Bouwmaster easily took the gold in the laser radial. Nicholas Heiner in the men's laser standard instead broke the spell and defeated the likes of Burton, Thompson, Bull, and even the legendary Scheidt. Trestles is considered the birthplace of the California surf culture dating back to the 1930s and today part of the national heritage. And by right then, it's also a classic yearly stopover for the ISAF World Championship Tour. With just 3 events left on this huge 2014 season, winning here can truly leave a mark. All eyes were on the Swatch Pro last weekend for the ladies' final on the famous Santander break that saw Stephanie Gilmore kick off with a massive 983, then put in an 893, and lastly a perfect 10. With an astonishing final score of 1950 to 1403, Steph closed the door on fellow Aussie Sally Fitzgibbons.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too vocal about it, like early on when Carissa fell out, and because I knew that Sally and Tyler were right there, and I had a feeling that Sally and I would probably meet in the final. So, oh man, I pretty much just wanted to get Sally back from Fiji because I kind of had a really bad performance there, and I wanted to get that back. And she's been surfing so well all event, and but yeah, pretty much whoever won that heat then, it was really like a definitive moment for this year, I think.
This is a crucial result for the 5-time world champion Gilmore, following Carissa Moore's early elimination in Trestles, which bumped the reigning champ off the top rankings, and with Fitzgibbons moving up to number 1, the season finale is now totally up for grabs. On call for the Hurley Pro and Trestles, the men's ISAF Tour is also coming down to the wire, but this time the underdogs stole the show, as South Africa's Jordy Smith and new local residents took the win 1650 to 1587 in a very close final against Hawaii's JJ Florence, now very much on the rise.
I just really kind of stuck to what I know, you know. I knew John, he had been getting 9s the entire event, so, and I don't think I had one right up until my first wave in the final, so I just wanted to peak at the right time, and sure enough, I did, you know. Gosh, I'm over the moon, and just, I can't believe it. I'm just, you know, it's a dream of mine to win at Trestles. So moved into town with my wife, and yeah, it's just a great way to start it.
Number 1 Medina was out in the quarterfinals, yet with a 5th place here in Trestles, the young Brazilian prodigy further stretched his lead in the world rankings. The old boys are right on his tail, however. Kelly Slater holds on to his 2nd place with Joel Parkinson, reigning world champion Mick Fanning and Michel Boulet, closing the top 5. Watch the full recap from both the Swatch and Hurley Pro with all the highlights, interviews, and backstage action from Trestles on the next NC Sports Top Story. Premiering this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on Nautical Channel.
Losing only 2 matches during the whole week, Taylor Canfield achieved an incredible performance during the Chicago Match Cup.
You're watching the Selling Update Zestop News. Welcome to the office.
Taylor started the final day by dominating all matches in the first 3 semi-finals against Bjorn Hansen.
Pretty shifty out here. You've got to get them right, but while still managing the risk.
Jan Williams, on the other hand, drops 1 point against French arch rival Mathieu Richard to secure the 2nd berth in the final.
May have gotten a little bit lucky in some cases, but in the end, you know, I think it came down to us sailing really hard. And
in winning the first match, Williams takes the early lead in the final, sailed in blustery conditions.
We sailed pretty well, but we just, you know, I think failed to close out in the end. We had big leads in race 2 and race 3 that we didn't make stick, and you know that's why I'm sort of sitting here really, you know, a little bit disappointed right now.
In a masterful display of tenacious match race and a flurry of penalties, Taylor Canfield successfully wins the next 3 races to defend his Chicago's title.
Yeah, it's great. You know, this is what we needed to, you know, kind of keep ourselves in the hunt for the World Championship this year. So, and you know, to do it in Chicago, it's awesome. You know, all of our friends and family are here supporting us, so we couldn't ask for more.
It was the 21st of September, and a day you'll always remember, because Bart's Bash was a complete global success. Thousands joined in online and on the water, and now nearly 200,000 British pounds and counting have been raised. Like never before, the sailing community responded at all levels, top to bottom, from the smallest clubs to the world's best athletes and personalities. Everyone actively participated in this unique campaign. A proud sponsor of Bart's Bash, Nautical Channel will continue to keep the Andrew Simpson legacy alive. So stay tuned for a very exclusive half-hour presentation on Bart's Bash, airing this November 3rd at 9 p.m. Here's a quick preview with special guest hosts Charlotte Holmes and Andy Rice from the epicenter of the event in Weymouth, Portland.
Hello and welcome to Weymouth. I'm Charlotte. This is Andy.
I'm Andy.
And we're here for Bart's Bash.
About 18,500 sailors in 68 nations at about 750 sailing clubs around the world, all having a race locally, but combining their results to have one big global race. It's about remembering the name of Andrew Bart Simpson. He's the Bart in Bart's Bash. He died a year ago, but his friends put together the Andrew Simpson Sailing Foundation, and it's about inspiring the next generation.
It has been. There's been lots of new bums on boats, people that have never sailed before, getting into boats, and that's really the essence of what it's about. But you can see it all for yourself on the Nautical Channel on November the 3rd.
At 9 p.m.
As anticipated on NC Sports, Maxis Sirena's revelations at the recent America's Cup 35 press conference in London were confirmed as both AC-45's Piranha and Swordfish were spotted foiling efficiently in Cagliari. This was perhaps an expected development since the technology did steal the show at the last edition in San Francisco, and apparently there is no turning back. How quickly ACM officialized matters for the coming World Series in an enthusiastic media release under the heading "Foiling is the Future" was perhaps unexpected, or at least a breaking from the traditional quagmire. A new breeze is apparently blowing in the America's Cup circuit. Most importantly, ACM notes that the teams have also committed to continue to race the foiling AC-45s on the America's Cup World Series circuit in 2018, following the conclusion of the 35th America's Cup in 2017. This is not just an important guideline for the new speed sailing technology. It could actually be a sign that this time, and with these 6 teams, the Defender and Challengers model may finally be reaching that fundamental continuity needed in today's professional sports. September is for sailing in Italy's glorious island of Sardinia, and dozens of crews met at the Yacht Club Costa Smeralda to close the summer season in the windy and exclusive Porto Cervo. Events first kicked off early in the month with the 25th edition of the Rolex Maxi Yacht Cup and Mini Maxi World Championship, featuring the very best crews and boats of this owner-driver circuit. In the main results, a Magic Carpet 3 topped the Wally class, Firefly dominated in the Super Maxis, Highland Fling had no rivals in the Maxi class, and the Lupa of London and Lionheart crews respectively won in the Mini Maxis and the J class. The overall winners of the Allegre team, led by Andres Soriano, were crowned 2014 Mini Maxi Rolex World Champions. The changing of the guard came soon thereafter, as the YCCS then put on another top show with the 2014 Rolex Swan Cup and the Swan 45 World Championship, the prestigious and most successful line of Finnish cruisers manufactured by the Nautical Swan shipyard, owned by Salvatore Ferragamo. On the scoreboard, Wope clinched the Swan 60 division. Nikata took the Swan Maxis, Yasha the Grand Prix, while Finola won in the Classics, and Natalia in the Club Swan 42. Yet it was the early bird crew with Christian Nagel and Hendrik Brandis that led the 2014 ranks in Portocervo by winning the Rolex Swan 45 World Championship for the 4th time. Don't go away because there's more surfing this week on NC Sports with a full ASP recap from Trestles in California. Catch the action, interviews, results, and analysis on the next edition of Top Story, premiering this Saturday at 5 p.m. only on Nautical Channel. Plunge into the action with NC Sports.